Can someone prop this old man up?
Armor. Heal. If people get close enough, I might use his heal. So, Bestie might be close enough. Yes. You go over there. Hey, where did I move Julia to? What? Guess my wife is cannon fodder.
Today, you will only have to take my place. Without true leadership, the Republic will be destroyed.
And so what? He will be a far better ruler than you. Long live the Emperor of Rome!
You gonna make it? Probably not now. I gotta kill him this turn. All you. There we go. That was kind of a bitch.
We can't win this one. Let's go.
Finish it.
You've been dreaming of this since the day your father died.
Why did you kill my father? What do you have against my family?
By Jupiter's beard. When will you finally understand it never was about you or your sad excuse for a family? I had plans. Great plans for Rome. The Republic is crumbling, but the establishment always hates the revolutionary.
Oh, right.
Your father was a spy, a tool of the state. He fought for the status quo. I was forced to eliminate him to save Rome.
You really thought Rome would make you dictator for life. Your hubris truly knows no bounds.
Maybe. What's clear is that somebody must take charge. The point was never becoming the king. It was that Rome needed a king in the first place. Someone who could cut through the endless dogshit coming out of the Senate. The blatant tribalism, the spiteful self-sabotage, the bribery and greed. We need someone who is willing and able to make difficult and unpopular decisions.
And if those decisions are wrong?
If a decision is made for the right reasons, it can never be wrong.
Didn't have to come to this.
You think? Of all the things a murderer might say to his victim, I agree. I didn't see it coming. Always thought you were a bit of a coward. Turns out I was wrong. It seems the park I intended my role to be in molding the first Emperor of Rome. When I am dead, your reign will begin.
That is for me to decide. Your only role now is to die. Stab him. Stab him. Why did I walk up to him just to back away again? Fail him. Do it again. Keep stabbing. Keep it. Keep stabbing.
It's
For
finally
my
over.
sister. For my
It
dad.
almost seems unreal.
I'm tired.
So am I. I hope the underworld has nice baths.
I've supported you not just because you're my friend, but because I believed the only way
Well,
to
you're
save
my
the
wife.
Republic was to commit terrible deeds. And our deeds have been terrible.
I'm not proud of myself. The poor guy steered me this way. It is foolish to resist their plan. A soldier, it's my job, and I have the courage to do what needs to be done.
There's one thing you get to decide for yourself now. Remember what we discussed? Well, we got what we wanted. Now we have to lay down our arms and turn ourselves in.
Are you stupid? Did you hit your head in battle?
Well,
We will
about
all
died.
be killed.
Not all of us. He will probably be condemned to death indeed, but we will not be punished as harshly.
We should not get punished at all. We should take over Rome and live like kings.
Hey, Ghost.
The
How are you
Anita
tonight?
is right. Surrender will only lead to execution.
But, Magister, surely morals dictate that he should surrender. Doing anything else would be immoral, and thus make him a lesser man.
He is like my own child. He would be a lesser man, but a man who is alive.
They will not just let us go. We all attacked.
Just got this game. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
I
it thoroughly.
certainly do not want to be executed.
I'm at the very end,
May
though.
I remind you what you have just said about the expected behavior of a moral individual?
I don't consider myself a particularly moral man yet.
I don't care about the philosophy of it. If you stay here, more people will die and the chaos will never end. We don't have to turn ourselves in if you're afraid of the consequences. We can simply leave.
I've won. There's nothing anyone can do to hurt me. The sole authority of Rome. Oh, I don't know if I want to do that. Easily disguise myself as a farmer. I should move out of Rome and maybe continue producing wine. How about making justice? He has disbanded the Legion. I will submit myself to the Senate. Let's go be a farmer. Go be a farmer.
That is still immoral, for you would be avoiding judgment. But I'd feel glad if that happens. Therefore, I am a lesser man. But I feel good about being one.
How do
We
I
will
feel about the
follow
game?
your
I enjoyed
lead,
it.
Of course,
I enjoyed
whatever
it.
you do. If we run, we can never return to Rome. But I will be by your side.
Yeah, I think for me it was well worth playing it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, I did pretty much about as much as I could do in the game. As long as I have you, nothing will ever be truly truly trouble me. I wish we could leave together. As long as you're with me. So the thought never being able to return to Rome doesn't sit with me. I can come and go as I please if I'm the new I don't want to be a dictator.
This is the right choice. We continue. Onwards to new adventures.
I'll make the arrangements, Domine.
You've already mentioned that before. I'll leave as soon as possible.
As you wish. Let us leave at once.
I don't know if anybody can stay after all this.
There are some who say it was a sudden change of heart that turned a would-be tyrant from his throne. Most accept the common story. A man pushed to his very limit by the machinations of a corrupt consul. A republic on the brink of becoming an empire, vulnerable to the ambitions of unscrupulous men. A desperate, unlawful action that saved the republic at the cost of one man's career and reputation. Although in one sense, the Legatus never returned to Rome, in another, greater sense, he never left. With his earth-shaking actions, he had set Rome upon a course that would guide it through history for centuries to come. It is said that he retired to a villa in Cisalpine Gallia. He remained in touch with those of his friends in the Senate who still stood by his side. He lived a long and peaceful life in the republic he had saved.
What I wanted to do.
As his dominus left Rome in exile, old Cineros chose to stay behind. There was just enough time for the Servus to get the manumission he had been promised before he was left to his own devices. For a time, he stayed with Claudiana at her invitation, until he had earned enough denarii as a teacher of Greek to get a small place of his own. She had offered him money, but he had politely declined. Cineros still had many powerful and influential friends in the city, and thanks to them, he enjoyed access to well-stocked libraries and well-educated conversation. In his final days, he spoke much of Greece. He seemed to be waiting for one last chance to lay his troubled past to rest. But that opportunity never came. Cineros died without ever seeing his homeland again. Even though it began in exile, Callida's second marriage turned out considerably better than her first. Away from the rigid society of Rome, she flourished with her new husband. Together they traveled far and wide, and had many more adventures, until they found a place they liked enough to settle down. Callida was happy to find that it was possible to be a wife and a mother without giving up the things she loved. She taught their children archery and horseback riding, and nobody ever again looked down on her for her unwomanly pursuits. Bestia returned to Africa to look for his sister again. Eventually, he did find her, and together they returned to Mauritania, where they settled down in an idyllic village and started new families of their own. In this new, quiet life, Bestia learned the true value of happiness.
Well, that's good.
Deianira followed her friend into exile. Rome had never quite lived up to her expectations, and she was glad to leave it behind. Eventually, she returned to her homelands of Scythia, where she reconnected with her family. But she always remained in contact with her friends, visiting frequently with new stories and exotic spices from distant lands. Claudiana lived for many more years. She had many friends in Rome, and her life was peaceful and comfortable until her final days. On her deathbed, she revealed that she had once been very close indeed with Lucullus, and that indeed the true family name of her children was Licenia. Cato remained an important figure in Roman politics, grudgingly respected even by those among the population who desired change. He remained a defender of the patrician class, a shield against the pandering and opportunism of more populist voices. He himself was elected consul twice throughout his life, and his years in the position were generally favorably regarded. Cicero served one more year as consul before his retirement. In his old days, he lived a quiet life on a farm in Sicily, where he was greatly beloved by the people for his time as quaestor. He continued to write many books on politics and law. Defeated once more by Rome, Mithridates escaped to the lands north of the Black Sea in the hope that he could raise a new army. But the locals soon rebelled against his rule. Incapable of taking his own life by poison, in the end, Mithridates died by the sword of his bodyguard. With Theophilus in charge of Musia, the city-state remained a strong part of the Roman province of Asia
It's
Minor.
good I left him in there.
Under his religious guidance, its temples grew wealthy, and it contributed many disciplined soldiers to the legions of Rome. Without the leadership of Damianos, the rebellion of his gladiators soon spiraled out of control. beginning what became known as the Servile War. Escaped slaves terrorized the Roman citizens throughout Thracia until the wealthy senator Crassus brutally defeated them and crucified thousands along the road towards Rome.
They started that, huh?
With the death of the Pharaoh Ptolemy and Queen Cleopatra, the Ptolemaic dynasty had fallen. Despite the attempts of Rome to hold the nation together under their rule, a bloody war of succession soon arose between various parties claiming to be descendants of the pharaoh. Rome was forced to send its legions to Egypt once again to restore stability by crushing the enemies of the Republic and rule Egypt with an iron fist. With the death of Cleopatra and under the steady guidance of Lunya, Nezarmanes once more became a peaceful and prosperous part of Africa Proconsularis, firmly aligned with Rome. As the eldest and most respected elder of the Berber tribes, Lunya became a singular figure of leadership and respect in the region.
All right, that didn't turn out as
She was
bad.
said to be more than 100 years old when she died. After traveling all across Africa for many years, going wherever her instincts took her, Raya eventually returned to Memphis and to the service of Tener at the Temple of Ubasti.
Forgot all about
When
her.
her mentor passed away, Raya naturally assumed the mantle as High Priestess of the Cat Goddess. Though the old faith was dwindling, she was greatly beloved by many, and her temple prospered, always home to many, many, many cats. With Diwitiacus once more assuming rulership of the Aedui, the tribe maintained a strong alliance with Rome, and through it, they greatly prospered. With the aid of the Aedui, Gallia slowly unified under Roman rule, and civilization soon began to creep into those lands in the form of paved roads, aqueducts, and fortified
like I,
Roman towns. In his old age,
got everybody,
did the Druid ever regret
join Rome.
hastening the absorption and suppression of his own faith and culture? We will never know. The once proud and strong Arwerni were greatly reduced by the defeat of Vercingetorix, but his survival gave them hope. His will to make war upon Rome had been crushed, but he remained a strong figure of leadership among his people, even despite his failures. With his guidance, the tribes of Gallia remained unified and somewhat at peace, and vestiges of their culture and traditions survived their gradual subjugation under Rome.
Yeah, I like it. For my
In this
decisions,
work,
too.
I have done my best to recount the history of this fascinating period, truthfully and accurately. As I have scoured the sources and spoken to many who claimed to have heard the story from someone who was there at the time, one thing that has stood out to me is the pivotal moments along the way where our story could have turned out very differently. Might the Legatus and his friends have remained in Rome to influence its politics in the years to come? Certainly when Legio Victrix crossed the Rubicon, the only way to remain in Rome would have been as its emperor. But perhaps if a different decision had been made on that fateful bridge, a more peaceful resolution would have been possible. One should always take care when second-guessing historical figures with the benefit of hindsight. Here in the present, there will never truly be a way for you to know how you might have acted if you had lived in the past. Nor can you ever be certain how history will remember you.
Nice. Now, I know there is a second ending, so if I wouldn't have brought my legion into Rome, instead of left them and disband them, I would have had a different ending. But I wanted to go to Rome. Yeah, this was fun. This was a fun game. Alright, so our next game, what we're going to be doing is Chorus. So we'll be starting that here. We got done early enough tonight, and I'll probably stream a little bit later tonight anyway, since I don't have to work tomorrow. So, also on Tuesday night, Tuesday? Check here. Maybe. Yeah, on Tuesday night, I'll be streaming longer. Also, I have Wednesday off. Yes, that was great. That was great. I liked the story in the end for the decisions you made. So I could have not killed Cleopatra. I could have put somebody else